Remember, trying out new patterns is the spice of life. Always. Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to the Tiger Pit. I'm your host, Baxter. Yes, got a fresh haircut for my birthday tomorrow and Mother's Day on Sunday. Didn't do it myself. Nice and short for the summer. Today, I'd like to talk about the case pocket worn, gray bone, carbon steel, Russlock. This is my first and only Russlock I have. This one was manufactured March 5th, 2024. Having a JO slip today. Let's get a look on that. Very nice gray bone. Sorry for the lighting. I could put the umbrella down and get it in the sun, but let's get in on that. I was very scared of getting one of these. I've heard horror stories. Big Red EDC had gotten a red one. Had huge gaps in the back spring and horrible blade centering, and he sent it back to Case to fix it, and they said they fixed it and didn't really do that good of a job. But I do not have one of these in my collection. I do now. I wanted to try it out. You can see I lucked out. The back spring looks really good on this one. I don't see any visible gaps whatsoever. I do hold it up to the light and I see very little light coming through there. So as far as that goes, I think I got a pretty good one. Let's check out the blade centering here. Yeah, that's the blade all the way off to the show side. Should be like that. But I think it has to do with these liner locks here, kind of push the blade over. So you see, as I hold it here and I push the blade over, you can see how that liner lock crunches up, and when I let go, it opens up a bit. So I do believe it's the pressure. Now, let's open it up here. These are meant to be one-hand opening and closing knives. There's the opening. And then you got the liner lock here to close it. Which is very interesting because this little flipper tab kind of gets in the way of opening and closing it. Not a big deal. I've seen people be able to get their finger and flip it up like that. I have not figured that out yet. I don't know if it's too stiff on the liner, maybe break in. I did kind of oil it up a bit. So you go like this, and then it wants to hit your finger. You got to get it out of the way. Locks in. Very interesting kind of Woody Woodpecker shaped blade. I've seen a lot of reviews of these, and a lot of them are off-center, off to the show side. You can see how thin this blade stock is. It is like a razor, and that's what this knife is based off of. Case has a history of making straight-edge razors. I have one from the early 1900s. It's very old, and they kind of just based that. I can't remember when they started making these, if it was early 90s or 2000s. My apologies for not having info on this. But like I said, this is carbon steel. And then to close it, you just push the liner in. So it's kind of a neat knife. They say it's 4 1/8 inch closed, and it is with this sticking out here. It's actually, the handle length is 3 5/8. So you think it might be as big of as a trapper, and it kind of is with this, like I said. A lot of people don't like to carry these in their pocket because this sticks up. I did want to try it. These are really pricey. This was $88. Luckily, I found it on sale for $67. So I figured I'd pull the trigger and get it. And there was a few other I wanted to get, maybe the yellow bone. They had them in 6.5 bone stag, but those are stainless, and I'm trying to collect more carbon steel. And so I have quite a small collection of this gray bone. It did come very sharp. Like I said, the blade stock is very thin. You can even flex it. So with this blade open, I notice it does have a hair just a hair up and down, and I think that's because, you see that? And then just a hair left to right play. Well, this isn't going to be a hard use knife. With a blade stock that thin, I'm not going to be hard using it. I could possibly return it saying, hey, it's on the liner, I got some blade play, send me another one. But I honestly don't think I'll get one with this nice back spring setup with no gaps. It would be hit or miss. And I could always enjoy it for a while. I may send it back to Case under warranty and see if they can do anything with it. But it's, you know, I've come to expect this from Case. You do have tested XX on the little flipper sticking out here. This is laser engraved with the model number, and then nothing on the back side. So that's one of the reasons the little left and right blade play is probably because they didn't press it all the way. And because it has that blade play, I think the liner is pushing it over the side there. Now, if you watch other reviews, I've seen a lot of them like that. And yeah, it should be like that, but they'd probably have to press the front bolster so tight to hold it in position to have the liner lock not push it over like that, that it would probably be really difficult to open and close one-handed. So like I said, it's 3 5/8 inch closed. I don't have a measuring tape to measure the blade. I did pick up a trapper. Here is the trapper alongside. You can see how much longer it is. Actually, let me close this. So you can see they're the same length, but the handle length is definitely different. Kind of cool. Like I said, I don't have one of these in my collection. I wanted to try something different. This is a good one to get. I love that pocket worn gray bone. Here is the Sodbuster Junior. My trapper did come out rather dark. And then let's keep this all aside here. I have the Barlow. I really wanted to collect these because of the carbon steel. Barlow was the first I got. I'm really impressed with the pocket worn gray bone. I do like bright colors when it comes to Case knives. But it's a really nice, classy, they get a really nice shine, a polish to the bone. You can see I already got Teeners on this. Very nice. I've contemplated getting the small Congress, but I don't know. I got this Russlock. It's, like I said, the only one in my collection. The red reflection is the umbrella above me, in case you were wondering. And this one, like I said, turned out exceptionally dark, which is not a big deal. I do prefer this lighter color. Barlow is absolutely one of my favorite Barlows, and a fantastic Sodbuster Junior. So, should you get a Russlock? I don't know. That's up to you. You know, I was on the fence, talked to a few people about it. Some really like it. Some have 20 of these. Like I said, very thin, slicey blade. Kind of like a razor blade. I wanted to hold out for one of the drop points. You don't see very many of them. They do have a smooth white bone with no shield at Shepherd Hills in stainless steel. But I figure I'd just go with the traditional. Like I said, if I was going to splurge, I'm going to get the carbon steel. And at $66, $67, it's not too bad of a deal. But just be aware, you might get off-center blade, you might get a little blade play, you might get some gaps in the back springs. I'm not sure why they ask so much for these. Maybe because they're one hand open and closed. But I just want you guys to be aware of that. Other than that, it's a pretty cool knife. One other point I'd like to mention. One of the reasons why it took me so long to get one of these is the liner lock. I don't like liner locks like that. You got to grab them and they just kind of, they're right there and they dig into your finger. So you can choke up on this like that, so it's not so obtrusive, but you're closer to the blade. I realize that honestly the way to hold it is like this. So you're not, you know, you can slice like this, or you can peel an apple like this, but just don't put your finger right over that and it won't bother you. So being a light user, you know, you can cut like that. You don't necessarily have to full on hard grip it, you know. The blade will flex a bit. Do have some swedging on the top there and a very pointy tip. But I've yet to carry this at work. I will try to carry it. It's kind of neat to have a traditional that's one hand open and close. And a locking blade. Something very different. I appreciate you guys watching. You guys have a fantastic day. Stay sharp, be kind, and take chances. Take care, y'all.